You want to safeguard your health, maximize your immune system, grow muscle, and lose fat faster? Prova Immune is not herbs and spices. It's not a proprietary blend. It's patented. It's a one-of-a-kind product. It's backed by science from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Prova is a protein antibody. It's different. It's real science and gets real results. Check us out at prova.com.
When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
It's that time again. Welcome back to After Hours. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm here, I think, alone today with John Romano. We're back, finally. We got rid of all the interference from all the other nutcases.
It's just back to the original, you and me.
That's right. We're always at the bare bones of it all. We hold it all together, right?
That's since day one.
All right. Well, I gotta start off by everyone's probably wondering what the hell is this shirt I'm wearing. So I gotta give the plugs. I get this big box in the mail today. It's enormous and it weighs like a ton. And Amanda can't even bring it up the steps. So I bring it up the steps and I open it up, and the first thing it says, there's a box and it says open first. Like, you know how like when you send like a gift to like a girlfriend, open this one first.
Wait, you got to say who it's from.
Well, I didn't know who it was at first. I just opened it up and then I said, who is this from? So I look back and it's Mr. G. Mr. G, our good friend George Smalley, and it's from Mr. Potts, you know, his food company where he makes the popcorn and potato chips, protein potato chips, and protein cookies. And I opened the thing up and it's the shirt I'm wearing. The first box. The Jumbo Palumbo cookie. So now I'm thinking, uh-oh, he must have made my own cookie. So then I get to the next box and it's this thing here. It's a big tin, like a cookie tin, that somehow he printed this thing on. It's not a sticker, John. It's actually printed on the actual tin itself.
Right on the metal?
Yeah, right on the metal. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jumbo Palumbo cookie, grow muscle, get huge, whey protein, it says. $19.99. I don't know why the dog tag says $19.99. Maybe it was just cool. So I open it up, and there is this ginormous cookie in here. Now there's a few of them. There's different flavors. This is the white chocolate chip. It's 1,524 calories, John, in this cookie. It's
I can eat 2 of those a day.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done.
Oh, it's a meal. It's 50 grams of protein in this thing. 250 grams of carbs. So you can eat 3 of these a day, and you know, in this time of famine we have now, and you don't even have to worry. Just call Mr. G, MrPotts.com there, whatever it is.
It's got 150% too much carbohydrates.
Yeah, it's got omega-3s in it. It's got, let me see the ingredients. They used the vanilla isolized from Species Nutrition, white chocolate protein, omega-3 eggs, so it's healthy, to grass-fed butter, I like it, flour, cane sugar, so it's natural sugar. He obviously got to put something to sweeten it. He didn't put any artificial sweeteners in it, John. Baking soda and chocolate chips, that's it. So a very natural cookie. Obviously, if you're trying to gain weight, this would not be something you'd use necessarily on a diet, but if you're trying to gain weight, you got a lot of protein in this cookie, 50 grams, you got a lot of carbs. I probably would have devoured these things when I was on my weight gaining, quest. And this probably won't bother your stomach because, John, there's really nothing bad in here. You know, there's no
nothing at all.
There's there's not a lot of lactose in here or anything like that. It's just you wouldn't use it while you're dieting. It's a ton of carbs. Now, so there's this white chocolate one. I'm going to taste it. I haven't tasted it yet. I wish you had one too to taste with me, but I'll have Mr. G.
He always sends you the good shit. He totally forgets who I am.
I bet your package is in the mail, guaranteed.
Yeah, he doesn't know my address.
Oh, then maybe not. I'll tell him to send you some. All right, let me get a little piece of this thing. Okay. Very moist. I'll tell you that much. It almost tastes like raw cookie dough. I hope he cooked these things. Very good. Mr. G, I give the Jumbo Palumbo weight gain cookie an A+. Really delicious. And I love white chocolate. All right.
Awesome.
The other ones, you probably like this one, John. This is a walnut chocolate chip.
No, I like white chocolate.
Oh, you like white chocolate chip? Okay.
Yep.
Tyler, do you like nuts or no?
No nuts.
He's like, all right. I think Tyler will go for the dipped chocolate chip. This actually is dipped, John.
I would like that.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I've never seen this done. I'm sure it's been done. It actually, they dip the chocolate chip cookie in chocolate. This one is also, they're all the same calories though. He somehow managed to get them all the same calories. So, and then this one is just chocolate chip. So this is not dipped. This is like the classic jumbo Palumbo cookie. All right, well, thank you, Mr. G. You know, you went above and beyond yourself. I think that anyone who would want to get one of these jumbo Palumbo cookies should contact Mr. G. And, you know, he didn't tell me where to tell people to contact him. I guess go to the Mr. Potts website. See if you can pull that up, Tyler.
You get a percentage off each one?
I don't know what my deal is. I think I just get free cookies for life. But I don't care. I love Mr. G. I do anything for him for free anyway. I don't care. I don't want any. He'll insist on paying me. I don't even want his money. So I just want him to be successful.
Unless it's a substantial amount of
money.
It's
I said if you start making a ton of money, you can pay me, right? Exactly. Anyway, so let's give people an update, John, on Greg Valentino, because as everyone knows, Greg had throat surgery to remove, I don't know if there was any existing cancer or they wanted to take out more tissue just to make sure they got the full border out. And so he has this, I don't know if Tyler can pull up the Instagram, Greg's Instagram, Valentino's Instagram. He got a huge cut in his neck where they went in and he had a drain in there. And as of yesterday, I heard he was doing good. And then you just got a text message, right?
Yeah, his girlfriend just texted me and said he's back in the hospital. He started bleeding really bad. So
when was this morning or last night?
Just now.
Oh, just now. Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So yeah, he started bleeding last night. So they just took him to the hospital now. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to hear an update. I mean, that's a common complication, bleeding. They put you back in and cauterize it. I don't think it's anything serious.
I'm surprised he didn't heat up a steak knife and do it himself.
Or a skewer. He probably has no skewers in the kitchen drawer.
Well, he has the drain in there. He wouldn't need a skewer. He needs something to stop the bleeding. So if you heat the steak knife up, you could just kind of, pull the old Rambo,
Or he could inhale some butane. Or he could inhale some butane through the drain or two.
We're making lighter. We're making light of it, but the truth is that it was not a simple surgery like he had done the first time. This was an extensive amount of cutting they had to do, from what I understand. We'll get him on, and when he's feeling better, to tell us what happened.
Yeah.
But it's traumatizing. That tissue is very sensitive around there too, and you got to swallow. And imagine every time you swallow some saliva alone, it's got to irritate that area.
Well, I don't know if they went actually into his esophagus from the outside, but he had the scar came down up here. I don't know if they were actually in his throat. But,
I think they were.
Oh, they were?
I think they were. I think that's what they had to remove, all that tissue, and then they also removed the lymph node, I think, while they were at it.
Yeah, they did. He said they were taking the lymph. Yeah, they were going to take that too.
So, I mean, I don't know from what his girlfriend told me, I think they were happy with the surgery, the way it went. But whenever they cut a very vascular area, you're always going to be more prone to bleeding. I'm a bleeder. I bled so much on my last shoulder surgery because I think I stayed on nutritional supplements too long that they actually had to give me a blood transfusion.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. They said.
Do you know who it was?
When Dr. Blau did my gyno surgery in '91, I bled.
Yeah,
so many
you told
times.
me about that.
Remember?
Well, to be fair, Dr. Blau was the bedside manner of a meat grinder. So,
well, no. The problem was no one knew back then, John, that all those nutritional supplements caused bleeding, like vitamin E and fish oil. So, I didn't stop anything. So that was my fault, And even for this last surgery, because when I had my first shoulder done, I stopped everything 2 weeks before, and then I forgot. And they hadn't reminded me, so at about 6 days out, I stopped the nutritional supplements, which I guess wasn't, enough. But whenever you have a vascular area around your neck or even the chest area for the gyno, you bleed, And what they try to do is they try to cauterize everything. But, think about it. You go back and you're swallowing and you're moving around, and it can dislodge some of those clots, and then I'm sure that's what happened with him. Look at kids with tonsils. Don't a lot of kids with tonsils, they bleed too?
Yeah, they throw up blood. And I
Yeah.
went through that one. Yeah.
I mean, they essentially removed his tonsil was what they did.
Hey, I didn't mean Dr. Blau had bad bedside manner. I just meant that he was rough.
Oh yeah. When he drained your chest, he took an 18 gauge needle, and I think he threw it from across the room at me.
I think he used the pliers to take the stitches out of my nipples. I mean, it was like, oh, come here.
You know what? I realize I do that with my kids when I get them dressed and stuff like that. I'm rough because they take forever, and I start getting frustrated. I'm like, can you just sit still? But,
No, Dr. Blau's a great guy.
yeah, he's the greatest.
And he does the best work too.
Maybe we should have Greg send Mr. G send Greg some protein cookies to eat here.
Yeah, we should. As soon as he can swallow, we should definitely send him some cookies.
Absolutely.
Mr. G should send them.
That's right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So what's your take on what's going on in the world now? I know everyone wants our opinion, and I haven't really heard yours. I've been spouting off at the mouth for the last week or so. What's your take on the whole situation with this coronavirus?
Well, first and foremost, everybody's panicking too much. This is going to blow over, like everything else. That Dave, you know, when you're an older guy, you've lived through a bunch of stuff. Okay, and I'm sure you're a little younger than me, but I'm sure you remember when AIDS came out, and Ebola, and SARS, and MERS, and you know, we had tons of diseases that the Zika virus. All of these came out, ran their course, killed a bunch of people, and we're fine. I'm not convinced yet that this thing is bad enough to shut down the entire country and throw us into financial Armageddon here. So you know, I'm cautiously optimistic on the fact that this will be over soon and we're going to get back to normal. And I mean, quarantine all the old people, do what you got to do to them. But for the lion's share of the public, this affects very, 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 very few of us as a percentage. And it's just crippling America. We got to go back to work. We got to open everything back up again. If we lose a few thousand people, look, the regular flu kills 140 people a day.
Yeah.
A day. 37,000 deaths a year. So we're nowhere near that. And they're talking about, you know, 10,000 hospital beds and 100,000 things and 6 million masks and 100,000 ventilators. I don't. Yes, the number of cases are growing because we're testing. So if you don't have test results, you can't make the number higher.
Right, but there are people that need obviously breathing assistance with these ventilators for some reason. I mean, New York City wants to. They're trying to like tell these like GM they have to make like 40,000 ventilators for them or something like that. Where are they going to put all these ventilators? That's a better question.
Well, you know, I don't. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play this out as this being the most horrendous, deadly virus ever contrived, then yeah, they probably have a point. But this is the flu. The kids aren't even getting it. It's just old people and people with pre-existing conditions. I think it would be far easier to quarantine them and let us get back to work,
right?
And then ruin the economy and America at large. So the fact that we're being manipulated here into doing something that is incredibly detrimental to our financial well-being, from what you just mentioned, forcing car manufacturers to make ventilators, to the self-imposed, you know, quarantines and the isolation and closing everything. Nobody's allowed to work. You can't leave your house. I think this is a little overboard. This is not, you know, this is not sarin gas. This is the fucking coal, you know. So, sorry. Some people are going to get it. Some people are going to die, just like they do every year. Let's go back to work.
Do you think that this is some kind of a conspiracy, like China orchestrated this? I mean, with some people are suggesting that they already have a cure and that that's why they don't have it anymore, and that they've released it so to ruin our economy and so they can come in and buy everything up. Do you believe that?
Well, you know, I have a theory The first theory is based on the fact that the Chinese are ruthless. Anybody who thinks that they're quiet, demure little, Tai Chi doing people are out of your minds. They are not the oldest surviving culture on the face of the earth for no reason. They are ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And their regime has proven time and time again over hundreds of years that they have absolutely no problem killing a few 100,000 of their own people to prove a point. So for them to manufacture a virus that would target only old people or predominantly old people would first and foremost attenuate their government's the government payouts for the elderlies, for their pensions and for their health care, and they'd save a lot of money doing that. And then people will say, whoa, only 1,500, 1,300 people died. That's not true. If you think for 1 minute China is giving us the truth, you're out of your mind. I got 2 bridges I could sell you. And the way they get away with it is like this. You got almost 2 billion people in China, and you've got a smattering of like 7 names that they use. So if Chin Lee dies from the virus, it says death, Chin Lee. Well, there's 140,000 Chin Lees, and 50,000 of them died. So it's just one. It's just Chin Lee. So they don't count Chin Lee 1, Chin Lee 2, Chin Lee 10. They don't do it. It's Chin Lee done. He's dead. Well, there's 40,000 in it. Okay. So
where did you get this mathematics from?
I'm just at the top of my there's it. I know people from China. This is a very common thing. Many people, tens of thousands of people have the exact same name.
Right.
This is the truth. Okay. So when the reports of somebody dies, they give the name.
Yeah.
But they don't say which one it is. So Chin Lee is counted 10,000 times. So the numbers.
Do you think there's a lot more deaths there than they're willing to admit? And do you think they purposely wanted those deaths there?
For 2 reasons. One is those deaths freed up a lot of money that government was paying out in pensions and health care. Secondarily, it was a shot across the bow to warn America and the rest of the world, do not fuck with us. You want to dismantle our economy, take all the manufacturing back, force us into these deals that are not advantageous to China, when we used to have you over a barrel and now we're not, now that's not the position anymore. Fuck you. We'll wipe out 50 million people to prove the point. And this time it's been relatively mild. This is just the flu. They could easily contract, and this is proof of what just happened with the coronavirus. They could contrive. They probably already have it in their banks. Some wicked virus that could kill tens of millions of people at a time, and they can release that the same way they release this one. It gets out into the world, and that's how they're fighting World War III. So it's entirely possible. This is just supposition. It's not. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a conspiracy theory, because it's certainly plausible. So
you think they have a cure for this thing already?
Well, I think there are numerous things that are showing hope. Whether they have a cure for it, it seemed to disappear from their country rather quickly. Right,
but then again, they also have everyone in isolation over there. Matter of fact, I don't think you could even, if you break the tape that's on your door, I think the police are there in like 30 seconds.
No. My friend in China told me that they were allowed to leave every 48 hours for 4 hours.
It's like jail. That's worse than jail.
And that's just to go. Well, that's just to go grocery shopping, whatever. And you needed a passport. There's cops everywhere. If you were outside of your house without your grocery passport, you were getting arrested.
Wow.
But China doesn't play around, man. That country of almost 2 billion people is ruled with an iron fist. And if it was that easy to get over on their government, that number of people could just easily have revolted. But for some reason, they're sticking together, and they're at the epicenter of this. And
right. Well, if you're going to manufacture a virus, though, to release, Sean, wouldn't you think you'd also manufacture the cure for it, so that it doesn't ruin your whole population?
Well, I think they have it, and I think they specifically targeted the section of the population they wanted to get rid of.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, old people cost money.
Yeah.
Now you get rid of 5 or 6 million old people that are sucking off the coffers, the government coffers. That's a lot of money now you can spend on buying up American companies that are in the basement now with the stock market going down so much, and all the businesses that are going to be hurting and looking for investment now as we rebound from this.
Well, it's sad because, if restaurants aren't in business, then the restaurants can't pay their mortgage to the building holders, and then the building holders can't pay their mortgage to the bank, and then, what happens, eventually? And then everyone's talking about giving, we're going to give you some leniency, you don't have to pay it right away, but you still got to pay it. How are you going to make back that money?
Well, that's the thing. They're going to have to. The banks are going to have to put this on the back end. So they're going to extend your mortgage a few more years, or a year or two, whatever it is, a year. They're going to have to do something, because we did not voluntarily go into. This is different than the housing crisis. We voluntarily got ourselves in over our head during the housing bubble. We were told by the government to stop going to work. Is the case here, and it's their doing that is causing the financial hardship. So they're going to have to put something in this bill that's going to forgive mortgages, rent payments. It's going to have to put money in there for small businesses to stay alive, cash payments to people. Remember, this is only 2 weeks. Not even. We're on day 10.
Right.
So people are acting like, God, we're going. What really astonishes me, Dave, is that so many people have no fucking money. None.
They don't have one. They can't go one day, without working.
They're 10 days into this, and they're already worried about losing their house, no food, no. I go, are you kidding me? How can you have lived for 50 years and not have any fucking money? You can't go 10 days without financial Armageddon blowing through your living room. Are you kidding me?
Well,
this, people are freaking dumb when it comes to money. Absolutely stupid. And this proves it. If you make $1,000, does not mean you spend $1,000.
No, it means you spend $1,005. That's what everyone else does. Right?
Yeah, that's what they do. Instead of spending $100 and saving $900, they spend $1,500.
Yeah.
And then hopefully next month they'll make it up on the credit card. People are financial retards, and this. And something like this is really what brings it out.
Yeah. That
so many people live paycheck to paycheck that if they have a week-long interruption in the stream of things, they start to panic.
It's sad, but you're 100% right. And the thing that I know I've talked about this ad nauseum already, but the paper towel and toilet paper, I guess you could say, scarcity that's out there now, because people went crazy and bought everything up to the point where they can't even manufacture it because they wiped out every supply of it is mind-boggling to me. And I have my neighbor works, she runs a store, like a retail store, and she was telling me, I think I saw toilet paper. So I'm like, well, I don't need toilet paper, we got plenty of that. I said, we don't use a lot of toilet paper in my house because we use Fiberlize. But I said, I need paper towels because I all my reptiles, all my snakes, I put them on paper towels. I don't put them on bedding or anything like that. So that's what I really use it for. And I had a pretty good stockpile of it already. I said, but if you see any, so I got a call from her. She's like, Dollar General, they have paper towels. So I went flying down there, and it was like, every place you go, it's like the night of the living dead, because everyone's afraid to look at each other or talk to each other because, they think they're going to get this, they're going to get the virus. And so I grabbed a bunch of the paper towels, and I didn't get greedy. I could have bought more, but I don't want to be one of these like freaking people that buys everything. You know what I mean? I didn't need it. I bought what I needed, and I left. And when I got home, I'm like so paranoid from touching everything, John. I'm like putting the paper towels out in the sun, because the sun kills everything. The heat will kill it. And we, unlike New York, it's actually warm down here in Florida. So,
right.
But I'm walking around I'm like the old, my Greek wedding. I have the Windex. I have Windex and paper towels. That's all I do is wipe down everything that I use. I wipe my hands. I'm spraying everything with Windex like it's going to kill the coronavirus or something like that.
It's funny here in South Carolina. The only sign that anything is wrong is that the restaurants and the bars are closed. Right. Everything else is normal.
You have the gyms open still, right?
Well, no, the gyms are closed. My gym's open because it's a key card gym. But gathering place. The churches are closed. The gyms are closed. The movie theaters are closed. A lot of some businesses are closed. Some businesses are using this opportunity to remodel. I got 6 remodeling projects going on up the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they closed their businesses and are using this downtime to remodel.
That's very smart.
So, yeah, I mean, they're obviously anticipating a rebound.
Well, I told everyone, I said, look, don't complain that you can't work out. You can work out in your house. You can do push-ups and pull-ups. And like you said, it's only 10 days so far.
Yeah.
Push-ups, pull-ups, dips, squats, lunges. You can get a pair of used dumbbells on Amazon, a Marketplace, or a Craigslist. You can improvise. And you know what? You can use this downtime to do something productive. Educate yourself. Do some reading. Do something creative. I mean, instead of sitting around, moping around, cheating on your diet and complaining. If I had... I have no doubt. My life has changed not one iota since this quarantine. We're still working. Luckily, I got my own office on my property, so we go to work, and nothing has really changed other than the fact that I don't take the kids out on the weekends to go places. But it's the same.
Yeah, my life is exactly the same as it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I work from home. I stay here. I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a key card gym. I can go whenever I want. It's still open. The grocery store's open. There's a few shortages of some things, but for the most part, I got plenty of food in the freezer. I got plenty of food in the cupboard. I got gas. I got propane. I got everything I need. So life is not very different for me. My wife is still going to work every day.
Yeah.
She did have to furlough a few people, because a lot of the business dried up. But I think everybody's overreacting. This is just 10 days. I mean, come on, it's a blip.
Well, is it going to get worse, or is it going to get better? That's the question.
Whether it gets worse or not, obviously it's going to get worse, but it's going to get better. And it's not going to get better in 7 years. It's going to get better in at the most a couple of weeks more. So, why don't everybody enjoy the time off, take a little vacation, relax a little bit. This is not the end of the world. But you can't tell that by a lot of people's reaction to this. This is treated.
I blame the press, the media. The media is making it seem. How they like to when there's a hurricane or there's bad weather, they like to talk about it nonstop, and people get all panicked and they go buy everything up and gas and this and that. The media is really, that's all they report on is from the minute I don't think it ever stops. 24 hours a day, there's reports on what's going on and how terrible this is and terrible. And look, there are people who are very sick from this, John. It's not just old people. People, in China, they say a lot of the men from 40 to 60 were big smokers. I didn't know this. They really got hit hard with that.
They smoke like chimneys in China.
Yeah, just the men though.
And right. And I don't want, we're going to get tons of comments. Romano's an asshole. He thinks this is not serious. I don't think it's not serious. It is serious. It is serious for a certain part of the population. It is not serious for me. It's not serious for you.
Yeah.
And it's not serious for millions of other people who are sitting around on their ass doing nothing now because we can't isolate the people who are most vulnerable. How come the government's trying to isolate the entire country from each other instead of isolate the vulnerable people? Put them off over to the side. Leave us alone.
True. That's a lot. Patrick Bet-David suggested that, and I know a lot of other people have suggested that too. Why not just isolate the people who are at risk? Really,
I was carrying something in my truck yesterday, and I had to pull over and adjust the cinch strap. It was loose, and as luck would have it, the first driveway I could turn into was that of a nursing home. Okay, so I pull up the driveway, and I the parking lot was virtually empty, so I parked kind of like perpendicular to the lines, the parking spot. So I'm taking up like 5 spaces, and all I did was get out of my truck and I'm cranking the cinch strap. the 2 golf carts come screaming over at me like an Indy 500. You know, what are you doing here? You know, where's your mask? And I'm going, mask? I'm not even going inside. I'm just like putting a strap
Oh, they thought you were
down.
like a worker there?
You got to leave. I had to leave immediately because it was a nursing home. I wasn't even inside.
I just heard a cough, John. Is that a marijuana cough or is that a...
Yeah, make a distinction.
It's just from smoking too much marijuana.
Okay, all right, that's all right. That's all right. I
That's
heard that
acceptable.
marijuana kills the coronavirus. Is that true?
Really?
But you know what does is nitric oxide.
It does?
That's what they say.
Yeah, PCP.
Yeah.
So all your nitric oxide, then you got that malaria drug that's supposedly working
Well,
really
quinine,
well.
quinine. I've been saying that for weeks now. The zinc is really what inhibits the replication of the virus, and the quinine opens an ionophore so that the zinc can get into the cells. So that's pretty much standard treatment now in Europe. They're giving quinine, type a prescription version of it for that.
Yeah, well,
chloroquine.
that chloroquine would seemingly work.
Yeah.
I think the nitric oxide thing has a good explanation, although I read it last night and I can't remember specifics, so I don't want to start spouting them
I
off
think
here.
the key is the zinc, and if you can get the zinc, which is a positively charged ion, into the cell, which is what we use the quinine for,
Right.
I think it's pretty effective. It doesn't kill the virus; it inhibits the replication of the virus, and then that allows your immune system to kill the virus, because the virus is really not. In some people, it's going to be more virulent than in other people. Most people will have just mild symptoms. We have a friend who was at our pediatrician who was like in hazmat suit, and he says he felt the whole family had it. They were testing them; they hadn't gotten the test results back yet. But he said, "Look, the symptoms you have now are going to pretty much be the symptoms you have the whole time. You're not going to really be any worse than this. It's like you said, it's like you got a bad cold or something like that."
Right.
And you'll get through it, he said. But, it's contagious, so just stay away. Just isolate yourself, that's all.
Yeah,
I think most of us, I say 85% of us will get infected by this virus before it's all over.
Yeah, I mean, rather than clear all these hospital beds for the cases they think they're going to get, just fill them all up with old people. Get everybody that's vulnerable out of society and locked up, and then just wait it out. But to plunge the whole entire country, if not the world, into this incredibly expensive financial catastrophe is, it's just overkill. It's way overkill. I mean, look, Mother Nature throws pathogens our way all the time. Our immune systems are fighting off viruses, pathogens, cancers, everything, every single day. We don't even know it.
Yeah.
And that's going on all the time. So every now and then, Mother Nature tosses us one we can't handle, and it thins the herd a little bit. It's happened throughout history, all the way back: bubonic plague, Black Death, it's tuberculosis, measles, rubella. Think of them all. There's hundreds of them. It's just the way of the world to take this one and treat it the way we're treating it right now, in the hopes of saving, so instead of killing, 17,000 old people, it's going to kill 30,000. That's still less than the regular flu.
Right.
What about cars? Automobile accidents cause 250,000 deaths a year. 250,000. So are we going to stop making cars?
Your theory about whether the Chinese might have fabricated this virus, I mean, why wouldn't they have made a more deadly version of it? It seems like this
that's next time. Next time around, it's going to be more deadly.
So you think this is going to happen again?
This was a warning shot. This was just them showing the world what they're capable of doing. And if you don't quit messing with them, they'll do it way worse next time.
Right.
World War III is not going to be fought with bombs and missiles and guns and bullets. World War III is going to be fought with pathogens, viruses, cyber attacks. There's no boots on the ground in World War III.
Right. That's an interesting concept. I mean, is there anything you think we can do to defend against that? That's the key,
Well, I think first of all, you got to use Russia as a example. Putin ain't never playing. That country is locked down. They have the fewest cases in the entire world, and it's completely managed over there. They immediately shut down the border between them and China, and they have a rather long border between them and China. They shut the border down. They put up tent facilities right on the border. They screened everybody. They separated the Chinese. I mean, the exact opposite of what they did in Italy. So, with their Hug a Chinaman program. So,
Hug a Chinaman program.
It's true. It's totally true. You didn't know that?
No. What? Explain what that is.
They instituted a Hug a Chinaman program over there. Because do you know the story about?
No, I know.
Why it was so bad over there? What happened is the label "Made in Italy" is extremely valuable. You don't want to buy an Italian pair of shoes and have it say "Made in China."
Right.
You want it made in Italy. So what happened was the Chinese companies, manufacturing companies, made a deal with Italy that they moved the factory from China to Milan. So now they got Chinese workers coming from China to Italy to work in the Chinese factory to make Italian shoes. So there were so many Chinese, both legal and illegal, living in. Do you know that Northern Italy has the greatest concentration of Chinese outside of mainland China?
I never knew that. Yeah.
I thought it was New York, but it's not. It's Italy. That, coupled with the fact that Italy has portion of Italy has a high elderly population.
Right.
So they had a lot of social dissidence, not distancing, dissidence between the Chinese and the Italians. Italians are not very, welcoming people to begin with. So, and I'm Italian, so I can say that without retribution because it's the truth. But so they had a lot of racial tension between the Chinese and the local Italians. So to try to suppress that in their liberal mindset, the government said, no, we're gonna end xenophobia and encourage everybody to hug a Chinaman, and that's what they did. And now they got more cases of this than anybody in the whole freaking
Too many Chinamen they were hugging, evidently, yeah.
Or hug a Chinese person. I always say Chinaman. Yeah. But they had a program. Tyler, look this up while I'm babbling over here. Google it. Hug a Chinaman program in Italy.
All right. Well, John, thank you for that. I love your insight on these political topics because I think that's where you shine. You always have a very, very stern, very sure opinion. Whether people agree with you or not, it doesn't matter. I'm entertained by it, and it makes sense logically. So, why not?
Well, look, the problem is in America, there's too many fucking pussies. That's the problem. We were a country of tough people, tough immigrants, tough men, tough women. That is gone. Yeah. It has been replaced by a bunch of bleeding heart liberal pansies that can't get their head around the fact that diseases come and people die. That's what happens. How many die? Who knows? That's just the luck of the draw. That's part of being human, part of living on Earth, part of living in an advanced society. We get diseases and people die. Can we control it? We can try, but unless you're prepared, we were not prepared here. We had not the medical facilities available. We did not have any kind of, germ warfare readiness program that had been rehearsed and tested and perfected. We didn't have any of that. We got caught with our pants down. Russia didn't, and that's why we're suffering and they're not.
Thank you, John Romano. And guys, that's going to take us to another end of After Hours. If you guys have topics for suggestions for future shows, let us know. Show us some love. Hit a like button. Turn on your notifications. Subscribe to the channel. And John and I, and who knows who else, will be back next week.